I mean,
think
by the
so.
time we by the time we got to it, we were pretty much enjoying everything.
It was all, you could have put anything in front of me at that point.
I first met Dominic West 2 years ago at a very intimate wine dinner hosted at the Château Lafite, which was hosted by Baron Eric de Rothschild and his family, where 20 people from the wine world and wine lovers were invited from around the world to gather at Château Lafite. Guess at this dinner who was sitting next to me. It was Dominic West, none other than. So I was very nervous in the beginning, obviously, feeling a bit conscious of the fact that he's so famous. But Dominic very quickly dissipated my nervousness with his quick repartee and his charm. He's extremely cool. And actually, more than anything, he's a genuine lover of wines. He has some very curious questions about wines all the time. He doesn't pretend to be a wine expert. He has tremendous enthusiasm for wine. So exciting to be here live with you today.
It's very exciting to be with you, Sonal. How are you?
I'm very well, Dominic. Thank you so much. At what age and when did you discover a love for wine? Because you discovered a love for drama and theatre at the age of 9. Is that right?
Wine was about a year later.
I bet.
I mean, the two often go hand in hand. No, my dad was a very big, loved his wine, and we'd, I think in the more not very English way and probably quite more continental way, we'd be given little watered down glasses of wine from, I don't know, the age of 13, 14 or whatever. So he'd encourage us to, not encourage us, but we'd beg him to taste the wine, and we'd have wine.
I give my daughter a few sips of wine every now and then. I think that's a good thing. I think it's trying to develop positive.
Yeah, and appreciating how to taste things and what they remind you of, and all those things. I sort of do it a little bit with my older children now, and they all go yeah, which is the longer they do that, the better. But I suppose I think it's a wonderful thing to learn about.
If you had to choose a wine without even thinking too much, what is the wine you tend to go for more often than not, just instinctivly?
I just love champagne. I just adore champagne and any sparkles. And I love Merceau. I think is my favorite white. And
not a bad choice.
I just adore that, and I love the big Bordeaux. I did taste quite a lot of South African wine last year. We were shooting. What was I shooting? Oh, I was shooting Tomb Raider out there, which was great because we were shooting in the wine area around Cape Town, and I had some delicious chenines out there, and I really enjoyed those. Yeah.
We were so mesmerized by all the Château Lafite wines because we tasted 16 vintages that day. How extraordinary was that?
Oh, unbelievable.
Wasn't it?
Including, the oldest was 100 years old.
1868.
68, okay, even older, from their foundation.
I probably shouldn't ask you which was your favorite vintage, but did you enjoy the last one? Like, did you enjoy the 1868? I mean, by the time we got to it, we were pretty much enjoying everything.
It was all, you could have put anything in front of me at that point. Remind me, had it aged? Was it still okay, or was it a bit thin?
It was very aged because it was a 150-year-old wine, so it was really, really very aged. My favorites for that night actually were 1945 and the 1961. Which came just a few one or two wines before the 1868, which I thought were extraordinary. And I remember even after all that wine, it really blew my mind. It was
the 45 was, I mean, that's a very rare treat, isn't it? Because it was quite a small vintage, wasn't it? There wasn't a great deal. I think it had it was a very hot summer, but a very wet spring or something. And of course,
it was a great vintage. And the wine showed, I mean, for something that old, the wine showed spectacularly that night, as did all the wines, by the way. And the whole hospitality and the whole thing was so surreal, Dominic, including sitting next to you at the dinner.
Well, that was the biggest treat of all. But I love the romance of the story behind the 45, in that the Nazis had just left Château Lafite, and of course the Rothschilds who had had, I think, a few family members killed in the Holocaust. Was it Baron? I can't remember which Baron came back to rescue that vintage, and there was a very small vintage, and they produced this best of the century wine, and it was. I thought that was amazing.
Know. I will have to admit I'm blurring on that one at the moment. But I remember at one point in the evening, Dominic, I can't forget this. But I remember at one point in the evening actually calling you John, and you turned around and said, "Who the hell's John?" And I said, "Aren't you John?" And I was so embarrassed because I was like, how can I forget his name? I mean, like, he's never going to speak to me again. I have no chance of hell writing an email or keeping in touch. That's probably why I haven't been in touch as much as I probably do. Oh, God. But yeah, that was fun. Tell us more about your trip to Portugal. You spent some time at Quinta de Noval as well, which is like a historic Quinta, you know, the king of all of them. And
is it really? Is it? Yes.
Well, they have stellar reputation, and they make this extraordinary vintage port called Nacional. So I'm sure you had a chance to taste all of that. So
well,
what did you like?
I not only tasted it, I trod it with my feet.
Yes, you. Oh, excellent. So you did the grape stomping and all of that.
I did the grape stomping in La Garde, or whatever it's called. We started at 10 o'clock, and by 6, I was
were done.
I was quite the worst way, and they said, right, now we're going to go and tread grapes. And we went in, and all the locals were there very solemnly treading these grapes, but there was a band there, and I'd sort of we were all in very high spirits, so we didn't take it quite as seriously as, and I realized as we were mucking about and dancing among all in these grape vats, which was a wonderful experience. They said that I don't know if this is true, but it wasn't just for the tourist attraction. It was that human feet have the right temperature and the right pressure and the right, you know, to make it perfect for crushing grapes.
There's a whole science. There's a whole science to it, and they don't want to over crush the grapes because then you don't want to release the bitter oils. You just want to sort of stomp it, and therefore the human foot is considered the ideal, because if you try to do that with a piston or with some other sort of a ladle that was heavy, it wouldn't work because it would crush the grapes, it would crush the seeds perhaps, release the bitter oils, which you don't want. So the foot is the ideal. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it feels great to do it, but it's not. Even though there was a band there, it's taken very seriously. It's quite it's a wonderful ritual, like the harvest, I suppose. That all the locals had come up to help out, and they sing songs while they're treading the grapes, and it was a really beautiful thing to witness and to be part of. And I wish I'd been a bit more compos mentis to remember it.
Amazing. Really simple, but rapid fire, okay? Red or white?
Red.
Okay. English sparkling or champagne? You know that.
Champagne.
Wine with food or wine on its own?
Both.
Good. By the glass or by the bottle?
One thing tends to lead to the other, I find.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It's a sliding down effect. Yes.
Yeah.
Sit down dinners or stand up with wine over networking, nibbling, snacking?
Oh, sit down dinners, I think. Sit down dinners, yeah.
Okay. First words when you think of, and be honest, first words you think of when I say the word Indian wine?
Hot and fruity.
Okay, interesting. Dominic, this has been honestly, the most hit session I've done on Instagram so far. The comments haven't stopped coming in. The compliments for you, it's all for you. It's all love for you and applaud for you. I haven't been able to take any of those comments or questions because I myself had so many questions. So I was just being greedy. But
well, thank you so much, Sonal. It's been a real pleasure. It's great to see you again. And I wish I could. Next time, I'll have a Cremant ready to go and share with you.
That'll be so nice.
Oh no! We'll drink Indian wine next time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If we had a bit more time to organize, like I know I gave you very short notice, but had we had a couple of weeks, I could have easily organized a couple of Indian bottles over.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
We could have tasted that, but who knows? Maybe soon.
Let's do it.
So, let's do it. Yeah. Thank you again, Dominic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sonal. Good luck
Take care.
and lots of
Say something for our audiences. Just say something for the Indian audiences.
Jai Ho, India. Jai Ho.